The northwestern Hawaiian Islands. The seals are frolicking. The birds are soaring. For some of the planet's most ancient creatures, it's paradise on Earth. But this paradise has a dark side. Around every corner, below every wave, lies menace. And there's an ancient species here that's fighting for its very life. The Hawaiian monk seal. A team of scientists has traveled to the ends of the Earth to find out what's ailing this remarkable animal. They'll brave the ocean depths and leave no stone unturned to learn why the Hawaiian monk seal is having a hard time surviving paradise. This is the Hawaii most of us know. And this is the Hawaii we don't know. The northwestern Hawaiian Islands are among the most remote places in the world. They peak above the surface of the Pacific Ocean, more than 1,000 kilometers from Honolulu. French Frigate Shoals is the largest atoll in this ancient archipelago. A crescent-shaped coral reef surrounding a handful of tiny islands and sandbars. They may look peaceful now, but this is a land with a violent past. 70 million years ago, as the great dinosaurs were dying out, these islands were busy being born. The ocean floor gave birth to massive flows of molten rock, creating huge underwater mountains whose peaks pierced the waves. Once, French Frigate Shoals may have looked a lot like the main Hawaiian Islands. But time and wind have worn them down to almost nothing. Some of these tiny islands are barely more than sandy beaches. But to the animals that live here, they are life preservers in the midst of a vast ocean. Surrounding these slender strips of dry sand lies an underwater Shangri-La, a classic Pacific coral reef. Intricate coral sculptures abound in the sun-drenched shallows. Home to lobster, octopus, and fish of every shape and color. And haunting these shoals are some of the most ancient species on Earth. The tiger shark has remained unchanged for 15 million years. The true old man of the sea, the green turtle, is older than the Hawaiian Islands themselves. And French Frigate Shoals is also home to another ancient creature. One that's on the edge of extinction. the Hawaiian monk seal. In Hawaiian, monk seals are called Ilioholo Ikawawa, which means dog running in the rough seas. Monk seals evolved more than 10 million years ago. They are the oldest of all the pinnipeds, a group that also includes walrus and sea lions. Over the eons, most seals have come to live in colder waters, which are actually richer in the food they like to eat. Today, the ancient monk seal is the only tropical seal on the planet. And even its days may be numbered. Until recently, there were 3 populations of monk seals in the world: in the Mediterranean, the Caribbean, and Hawaii. There are now fewer than 600 Mediterranean monk seals. In the Caribbean, there are none. They are extinct. Only about 1,300 Hawaiian monk seals survive today. These tiny islands are the monk seal's last best hope. But the fact is, even these animals are on the edge of extinction. Monk seals may have flourished for nearly 10 million years. But that was before they met humans. In the 19th century, Hawaiian monk seal populations were decimated by hunters. As the 20th century dawned, the seals seemed to be rebounding. But with the start of World War II, the northwestern Hawaiian Islands became the site of several military bases. The most well-known was on Midway Island, where what many consider the decisive Battle of the Pacific was fought in 1942. When the conflict ended, the vestiges of war remained. They became part of the monk seal's world. This ongoing disturbance continued to drive the seals' numbers down. Today, they are one of the most endangered marine mammals on the planet. In 1976, the Hawaiian monk seal was declared an endangered species. The beaches and reefs that are its home became part of the Hawaiian Islands National Wildlife Refuge. Sheltered in a remote corner of the world, these seals should be doing well, but they're not. Their largest breeding colony, French frigate shoals, is in a state of crisis. Only 2 out of 10 pups survive to their 2nd birthday. Scientists believe the reason may have something to do with food. The warm, shallow waters of the coral reef should be a rich feeding ground for the monk seals. And yet, many of these animals are clearly not eating well. Some are starving. It's a mystery Dr. Frank Parrish is determined to solve. Frank is a biologist for the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, or NOAA. He's dived these reefs in the northwestern Hawaiian Islands since 1982, when he came as a student from the University of Hawaii. And since 1995, Frank's been coming for the monk seals.
Monk seals have been in decline for a while, and we don't know why. There's no clear answer. There have been a number of theories. The primary one has been whether there's enough food for the seals to eat.
Frank has come to put that theory to the test. His work is part of a larger NOAA study. The investigation is based on Tern Island, at a research station run by the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. The team includes field biologists like Suzanne Kanja, a monk seal specialist. Suzanne spends half the year in the field with French Frigate Shoal's 300 monk seals.
We're trying to identify as many individuals as possible to sort of assess the population as a whole.
To track how the population is doing, the team needs to know how many seals there are, how many pups are born, and how many survive to adulthood. Every day, the team monitors the beaches. Here is where they know the seals best. Here is where monk seals rest and raise their young. Females bear only one pup at a time. They're pregnant for 11 months, so each pup is a huge investment. At birth, it weighs about 15 kilos, but not for long. Suckling on mom's rich milk, the baby seal balloons to 6 times its birth weight, about 90 kilos, in just 6 weeks. But what's good for the pup isn't so easy on mom. Because during this time when the newborn is at its most vulnerable, the mother never leaves its side to hunt. She eats nothing at all. And she can lose half her body weight during nursing. Finally, she's so starved, she must go to sea to feed, leaving her pup alone for good. He's on his own now. Hawaiian monk seals have no natural predators on land, so the pup is safe for the moment. But with mom gone, he looks for other companions. With so little space to go around, the animals at French Frigate Shoals live cheek to jowl, so there's plenty of company. Soft, slow, and trusting, the pup will approach anything for comfort. But baby albatross don't make good playmates. Nor do sea turtles. And neither provides any sustenance. To eat, the pup must brave the water, where the seal's primordial enemy is waiting. The shark. And newly weaned pups are the most vulnerable to shark attacks. Sharks have always patrolled the shallows here. But these days, young seals face a new and devastating threat: starvation. A surprising problem, since monk seals are among the most skillful and tenacious hunters in these waters. On land, they may be awkward and slow-moving, but their true home is the ocean. And they can be out there for weeks at a time. Adults are fast and agile enough to outmaneuver a shark, which they have to do. They dive deep, and they dive long. The challenge for the team is how to get down there with the seals. Frank is an experienced diver, but in the water, there's no way he'd be able to keep up with these animals. And even if he couldn't do it for weeks on end. To make the move from the beach into the seal's world, Frank needs high-tech help. And one of his tools is called CritterCam. Developed by National Geographic biologist Greg Marshall, CritterCam can be the answer to a research scientist's prayers. It answers a simple question. What would it take to experience the world from the animal's point of view? The answer? A recording device that rides on the back of the animal. A compact assembly that includes a video and audio recorder, as well as environmental sensors. CritterCam has traveled around the globe, bringing back some of the most amazing images ever seen of the natural world, from the animal's perspective. Biologists have used other tracking devices on Hawaiian monk seals, but those haven't given Frank the data he needs to learn where and how the seals find their food. French frigate shoals' shallow coral reefs have been protected since the mid-1970s because scientists thought this is where the seals feed. To protect the species, Frank and the team need to be sure.
The main question of our investigation is, what is the habitat? What's the important grounds that the seals are making use of?
That's the information Frank hopes to get from CritterCam. Deploying any instrument on monk seals takes special permits and a highly coordinated team. To minimize disturbance, they do what any highly coordinated team would do. They practice. They need to be quiet and efficient.
So then it's just a matter of holding steady after that.
Tackling pillows is one thing, but now the search begins for a real CritterCam candidate. A big, strong, healthy seal.
We're pretty cautious about not disturbing the animals, primarily because human disturbance has been a big factor that's affected their survival, and so we want to limit the impact that research has on these animals.
After a long and careful search, the team hits pay dirt.
I think it's a pretty strong candidate.
Yeah, me too.
This fully grown male is sleeping peacefully now. But awake, he is 200 kilos of muscle, blubber, and aggression. Carefully, they make their move.
Got it.
The team veterinarian sedates the animal to minimize stress and monitors pulse and breathing rate. They pour water on the seal to keep him from overheating. Using a fast-setting, flexible adhesive, Frank glues CritterCam to the seal's fur. Later, the glue will just peel off and leave no trace. A temporary painted mark will help identify the seal. Now the team can quietly retreat to see how the seal is handling his new accessory. Just a short time after being caught, the monk seal returns to its ocean home.
Just seeing it swim out there, it doesn't seem to be struggling.
I was a little unsure in the beginning about the size of the camera in relation to the seal, but when we got it all on there, it felt like it's gonna be okay.
As the team moves on to other CritterCam deployments, their first research subject swims out of sight. They hope it will bring back information on where these endangered seals find their food. And Frank gets ready to track it. The researchers' only way of keeping tabs on their subject is the transmitter on the critter cam. Frank sets up station on the roof to monitor the seal's whereabouts. A steady beep means the seal is on the beach. An interrupted one, it's in the shallows. No beep at all means it's at sea. As Frank continues to track the seals, another ancient creature is facing the shallows at French Frigate Shoals. Unlike the monk seals, green turtles in Hawaii are doing fine and eating well. They spend most of the year feeding in the main islands to the southeast. But every summer, they make the 1,200-kilometer trek to these tiny beaches to mate and lay their eggs. But even for sea turtles, surviving paradise is not easy. Once a baby turtle cracks into the world, things quickly get tricky. Like monk seals, their instincts drive them toward the ocean. But often, there's a beachcomber nearby that has other plans for them. Many hatchlings never make it into the sea. And predators aren't the only thing standing in their way. For a tiny sea turtle, these few meters can be an epic journey. And those who do make it to the ocean aren't home free. All animals here have a fearsome predator to contend with. One that's circled these waters for millions of years. One the monk seal knows all too well. The tiger shark. At home in warm waters around the world, this shark knows few bounds. It can weigh over 4 times as much as an adult monk seal. Its large mouth and powerful jaws, coupled with lightning-fast striking speed, make it a formidable hunter in these rich feasting grounds. Monk seals are prize prey for a tiger shark. But once a year, the seals get a reprieve because there are easier pickings to be had. Every summer, tiger sharks converge on the lagoon in the middle of the atoll because the albatross are fledging. When albatross chicks attempt their first solo flight over the ocean, the sharks are waiting. Many many albatross fledglings never make it past their ancient predator. But for every albatross that quickly falls victim to a shark, but that is only a temporary setback for these determined hunters. For some monk seals, hunger seems to have become a way of life. The days go by, and Frank still hasn't heard a beep from the critter-cammed animals. They could haul out of the ocean to rest at any of the atoll's dozen islands. Today, there is nothing. And tonight, nothing. But in the morning,
I don't know, it's pretty constant.
a steady signal means it's time to get busy.
He's in.
The team carefully removes the recorder. This seal has made its contribution to science. And unharmed, it heads back to the ocean. The critter cam is back, but it's beaten and battered from its long journey. It's unclear if the device has recorded anything at all. The tape has run, and we are immersed in the world of the monk seal, in the shallow waters inside French Frigate Shoals Atoll. Swimming easily, the seal cruises through coral palaces crowded with fish, only to find a cave and settle down for a nap. The critter cam on his back takes some serious blows. So this is why the housing was so battered. Monk seals often catch a few winks underwater. But it's not always undisturbed slumber. This seal is sleeping with the enemy. After a while, the seal picks up the pace. Perhaps a prelude to the feeding behavior Frank's desperate to see. But the seal's target isn't food. It's another seal. And just a pup. This behavior has never been captured on video before. A newly weaned monk seal, just learning about the shallows, has none of the survival skills it would acquire later in life. Male monk seals will sometimes go after any member of their species, no matter how old or young. Young monk seals not only have to survive alone in waters crowded with sharks, they also have to fend off attacks from their own kind. Aggressive males could easily drown young seals with this sort of assault. And sometimes, they do. These are shocking new insights into the monk seal's life, but not the crucial information that may help save the species. Where they find their food. The clock is ticking, and the team is anxious to recover the other critter cams. Finally, they do. And the footage they bring back is a surprise, even to a veteran like Frank. These are the shallow waters inside the atoll, where scientists have assumed the seals feed. Over and over, the team sees monk seals swimming through the shallows, but not feeding. Then the bottom disappears, and all the camera picks up is open water. This is totally unexpected. But there's no getting around what they're seeing. This seal is clearly heading outside the atoll and down, way down. 20 meters, 50 meters. At 80 meters, the bottom suddenly materializes again. This is an entirely different habitat. Flat, sandy, and deep. It seems like barren wasteland. But to a monk seal, maybe not so barren. Wedging his head under massive rocks, the seal lifts them up to flush prey hiding underneath.
Yeah, this is great. We've never seen this.
Here on the deep slopes outside the atoll, the seals are feeding. They dig eels out of the sand, pull octopus from rocky lairs, and relentlessly dog their prey.
We didn't even have any clue that they were going down to these type of habitats. For years, we thought the seals were feeding inside the atoll, and bringing critter cam to it, that's what we expected to see. That's not what we saw.
What they saw was monk seals ignoring fish inside the atoll, swimming out instead to the slopes beyond the reef to catch their food. The same fish they passed up inside the atoll, they hunt 20 kilometers out in deeper waters. Watching the seals hunt, Frank begins to suspect that it's the openness of this terrain that draws them here. Back inside the coral reef, their prey has too many nooks and crannies to hide in. Outside, on the deep slopes, there are few places to take cover. But the monk seal doesn't have this bounty to itself. Here comes the competition. A crowd of jacks and sharks trail the foraging seal, just itching for a chance to steal its meal. This seal has caught a triggerfish, and a shark moves in to take his catch. Not this time. Deployment after deployment tells the same story. Monk seals rarely feed inside the atoll's shallow coral reef. It's the deeper regions outside the reef they need to survive. But the story doesn't end here. The video also shows that some seals head even farther out and farther down to a third location in the open ocean, and so deep that there's no light at all. These are the subphotic depths, areas of the sea where light is powerless to penetrate. Why do seals go so far afield? when there's so much food close to shore? There's only one way to really know. Frank will need a different kind of technology to go down there himself. But that will take a little time to arrange. Time the monk seal doesn't have. The northwestern Hawaiian Islands may be its best chance at survival. But even in this isolated place, the odds are stacked against it. Because remote as it is, the world eventually makes its way even here. Throughout the Pacific, commercial fishermen use giant nets to catch fish. Sometimes, the nets are lost or abandoned to the sea. Then, driven by powerful currents, the nets drift and tumble through the ocean for thousands of kilometers. Alone in the middle of a huge empty sea, these islands act like a giant sieve, trapping nets lost half a world away. The problem is, seals are curious animals. They investigate anything new and strange in their world. A forgotten lobster pot, a buoy, derelict nets, and other fishing debris are monk seal magnets, especially to the young. If they don't drown, they're easy prey for sharks. Solving this problem is a huge task. Removing the net fragments requires a massive coordinated effort. Cleanup missions have removed as much as 7 tons of netting per square kilometer in the reefs of the northwestern Hawaiian Islands. It's an uphill battle. But the monk seal will not slip quietly into extinction if Frank Parrish can help it. He and the NOAA team are rewriting the book on where these endangered animals live and feed. Now he's ready for the next chapter. A voyage to the bottom of the sea.
My dad was a marine scientist and he worked out of habitats, and that did profoundly affect me. I got to play and I got to see submarines sitting on the beach, and it was very exciting.
The time has come for Frank to say goodbye to his family.
See you in a month, Scott. See you in a month.
On this expedition to French frigate shoals, they
Out here, and they're dropping down to this center location right between these two islands, just in the middle of the ocean, and focusing all their effort here.
discovering what draws the seals here is a long shot. Even those who know this part of the ocean best aren't convinced the team will find anything.
Is there anything that you know about in this location that's unusual about this piece of ocean?
It's probably not much out there.
This voyage to the bottom of the sea is the marine equivalent of a moon landing. A dive that a monk seal makes with no preparation at all requires 14 people working a 24-hour day. Monk seals have evolved to handle deep sea pressure. All they have to do to go deep is take a deep breath. But we need to take air with us. We also need a vessel built of thick, high-grade steel that can maintain sea level pressure for the crew. The Pisces 4 is operated by Chief Pilot Terry Kirby.
Well, what do I expect to see?
Well, I think that's the most exciting thing. We've never dove in this particular spot, so I can't say.
back deck. This is the bridge. We're coming on site. We should be there in approximately 5 minutes.
The ship navigates to the spot indicated by SEAL's satellite tag data. It's truly the middle of nowhere. Frank and Terry will be the first people to ever explore this underwater world. Whatever's down there where the sun doesn't shine, Frank's about to find out.
This is perhaps the most exciting time in my monk seal investigation, to get to see what would be worth diving to subphotic depths. 300 meters, a place where there's not even light. There must be something pretty interesting down there.
I'm going in.
The passenger sphere measures only 2 meters in diameter. Not much room to move around.
Roger, understand. Clear to dive. We're diving now.
As the Pisces 4 sinks below 100 meters, the floodlights reach out into complete darkness. Complete emptiness.
That's 200 meters, over.
Roger, 200 meters, steady by.
200 meters, and it's starting to get cold.
14.4 degrees Celsius.
Okay, Pisces 4 is passing 300 meters.
At 300 meters, the sub hits rock bottom. The currents down here are fierce. The Pisces 4 is brought to an almost complete standstill. And Terry has to park it behind a boulder for protection.
Yeah, Roger, Max. We don't know what the status of the current is. We're hiding in a lee behind this wall. We've tried to go up a couple of times already, and it's blown us back.
Their options are clear. They can abandon the mission or push on. If they get into trouble this deep, they're a long way from help. They decide to press on.
We're gonna move up and try and move off to the south, over.
It's not perfect, but they're starting to make some headway. But time isn't on their side. Life support and battery power are limited. Finally, they reach the target area. In every direction, there is only dark water. A completely desolate and unremarkable place. It's hard to imagine why monk seals make the long trip here, but there must be a reason. Then, as the sub glides over a rise, suddenly, the reason appears.
Oh, what's that? Oh, look at that.
That is a big tree.
Here's the coral bed. This must be it. This must be the focus of their attention.
This is a complete surprise. The otherwise barren landscape is adorned with rich beds of corals. Astonishing pockets of life in a deep water wasteland.
That is absolutely beautiful.
Most amazing of all, huge colonies of gold coral, towering like trees above the sea bottom, waving in the deep ocean currents. And congregating in these dramatic coral beds, where no one expected to find them, fish. Many kinds of fish. A monk seal smorgasbord. The gold coral beds have turned desert into paradise. A deep water oasis with abundant food, and apparently no sharks or jacks to compete with.
when you come in and you see them, first you see this drab outline and you're wondering, what is that? And then your submarine's lights hit them and it just reflects all that light right back into your eye. And it's, whoa, this is beautiful. You see this, and then you drive through the patch and it's back to barren again. And it's like this little oasis in the middle of the desert. It's unbelievable. That was awesome.
That was a great dive.
It was fantastic.
That was true exploration.
The team makes more dives in the Pisces 4 over the following weeks, pushing to even greater depths and discovering more coral beds. With every dive, they become more convinced that it's this extraordinary place that lures monk seals so far from home and so deep. And then, as if to confirm their theory,
Whoa, what's that? That's a monk seal.
Oh my God.
No way.
Oh, look at right in front of us.
No way.
Oh my God. Oh.
a monk seal, more than 500 meters down, in the middle of the ocean. It's one thing to have satellite data telling you the seals are coming to visit these deep oases. It's another thing entirely to see it with your own eyes.
No wonder the seals are spending time here. It's a great place to spend time. I mean, I was really excited about it.
For monk seals, surviving paradise may require a leap of faith to venture beyond the atoll and the competition to find these deep feeding grounds. It's the end of a research season. But Frank Parrish and the team will be back to continue their quest to protect the endangered Hawaiian monk seal. They leave knowing that they've discovered what these solitary animals may need to survive. The slopes beyond French Frigate Shoals Atoll and the gold coral beds out in the deep ocean. These critical feeding areas are now protected, an important step towards saving a unique species from extinction.
Knowing that we humans had an effect on the decline of the Hawaiian monk seal feels like we have the opportunity now to right some of those wrongs and to assist this animal back into recovery.
Do monk seals have a chance? Absolutely. And because they have a chance, we need to provide every opportunity for them to make it. And I believe we're doing that.
For millions of years, monk seals have risen to nature's every challenge. Solitary, resourceful, graceful. They've weathered the ebb and flow of the ages, maintaining a natural balance with their world, adjusting to its changing moods. Only now, as they teeter on the brink of extinction, are we coming to know these ancient seals. We're finally discovering what they need to survive. And just in time. Because if the resilient monk seal fails to bounce back once more, images like these and a few scattered memories will be all that's left to us. And a piece of paradise will be lost forever.